Hello, team. Good to see you all. There'll be more arriving, I'm fairly certain, in the next couple of seconds, next couple of minutes, and then we'll be getting ourselves underway. We are obviously in the middle of learning about elasticity, in fact, more than the middle, okay? Price elasticity of demand, or PED, has been our major focus, right, where we learned about it being elastic or inelastic with regards to its response, okay? We learned about the determinants of PED, thinking about what causes it to be elastic or inelastic. We've had a look at the calculation, the formula, how the formula works. Okay, so percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price. All right. Not sure why I'm not getting more of you. All right. Hello, Shanley. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right, so we're going to be continuing on today in our investigating about elasticity. All right, and I have posted the Nearpod and the link to the Nearpod into the classroom. So we're going to be going there very, very soon. In fact, we'll go there now because I will push this button and this button and go to Nearpod. So it should be a code that's AM7KQ, AM7KQ, right? So if we open that up, and we'll just do a bit of a rewind here, just so that we are thinking. All right, so to rewind, right, let's see if we're all joining. Hopefully we're all joining. Okay, a couple of us joined already. That's good. Need the rest of us to join. Would be fantastic. PES is out where we're going now. We've learned about PED. We've talked about determinants of PED, the revenue boxes, so the impact on revenue, who is concerned about PED, all of those sorts of ideas. And now we're looking at the price elasticity of supply. All right, so we're looking at the supply curve. And what we said the other day was that we know the law of supply. We know that when the price of a good or a service, when that price increases, that the quantity supplied also increases, because that follows the law of supply, the upward sloping curve. But what we didn't explain at that point in time is when it does change is how much it will change, how responsive it will be, the quantity supplied, to the change in price. So that's where PES comes in, or price elasticity of supply. Our formula that we came up with was this one. Right? It was the percentage change in quantity supplied, all divided by the percentage change in the price. So again, what we're saying here is that the queen is higher than the princess. It is almost exactly the same formula as we used for PED, the only difference obviously being that we have substituted quantity supplied instead of quantity demanded. I'm just going to jump back to here just for a second. Good, everyone here, fantastic. Hopefully you're all joined into the Nearpod as well. In fact, if I jump back here, I need to push the other button. All right, this one here, and then I can jump back to Nearpod. All right. Now let's have a move on. So that's PES, percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in the price. And we stopped the other day looking at a real life example, a worked out example of the formula here. So we had the percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price. So we've had a look at, here's the quantity supplied. It has changed. It's gone up, all right, by 15. Okay, difference over difference. Right, the difference over the original times 100 gives you the percentage change. Then the price, what has happened to the price? Well, the price has decreased, okay, as we see here. Sorry, increased, as we see here. 11 minus 8 over 8 times 100, 50 over 375 gives you 1.33. Now, as we said the other day, we're going to be able to use a lot of the same terminology. Right? We are thinking about supply in this case, but the terminology isn't going to be too different. So if we have a look, giraphically, we are still going to be talking about a relatively inelastic curve, so doesn't respond particularly to price changes, and a relatively elastic supply curve, responds quite more than responsive to a change in price. So again, it's still that same idea. It still looks more like the letter E if it is relatively elastic, and more like the letter I if it's relatively inelastic. All right, so that's where those ones work. So if we move on, so that's what the curves look like giraphically. Now here's one here. Look at this one. The price of books has decreased from $10 to $8 per book. Quantity supplied has decreased by 50%. All right, so then I'm wanting you to calculate the PES, and what does that coefficient say? I think I've got it in here. Yes, I have. There you go. So the price of the book decreases from $10 to $8 per book. Quantity supplied has decreased by 50%. Work out the PES. What does the coefficient tell us about how easily and quickly the business is going to be able to react, right, with regards to the amount of books supplied? How fast are they going to react? So away you go. You know the formula. Get yourself a calculator. Have a go. Remember the queen over the princess. I'm having a go. Okay, so you work out the percentage change here between 10 and 8, right? And that will give you the price change. You've already been given quantity change here, which is 50%. So it's going to be 50% divided by the percentage change here. Done, Lishan. Let's have a look. Yep. Good. Very good. Well done. Come on, the rest of you. Have a go. See what you can come up with. Good work, Abu. Good work, Emma. A little bit more time to see if the others can put an equation in. Good work, Mum. Jen, yeah. I'm going to keep trying. Got a couple more who need to have a go. Hopefully, Brandon, you'll have a go there, dude. Maybe internet issues. All right, so that's how we worked it out. Good. Worked out the difference. Yes. Well done. So if you've got a coefficient that is 2.5, 2.5, right? Now, thinking about it, that's greater than the number 1. So therefore, we would suggest it is more than responsive. So the PES, the price elasticity of supply, the terminology we're likely to use to explain what's happening is that the books, they have a price elasticity of supply that suggests that books are more, beginning with E.
Elastic.
More elastic. That's absolutely right. All right, so more like the letter E. Perhaps not 100% the letter E, but more, they look more like the letter E. And you look at it, what is it that we're talking about? It's a general books, so any kind of books. All right, so they're, you go into the shop and the price of books, yeah, all right, okay. Are we going to supply more? No, the quantity is, the price is decreased, so, let's decrease it. It's, right, we're not getting our revenue from it. How easy is it to do that? Well, they just take them off the shelf. How easy is it if the price was going the other way? How easy would it be for them to increase their supply of books? Well, they've got books out in the back of the shop, perhaps, in the warehouse. So for something like books, you would assume it's relatively easy to increase or decrease their production, the quantity available. There's our giraffes. If we have a look at these again, you'll notice one in particular is perfectly elastic. So this isn't demand this time, this is supply. So it is possible to have a perfectly elastic supply. Right? That this particular, weird situation, you might suggest that you could supply as many as you wanted at that price. Right? Maybe. Maybe there is a good that you can do that. As much as you want, you can supply at that particular price. It does mean that you have no influence over the price. When you look at it, you've just got to accept that price. Right? This one here, right, that's just elastic in its supply. It's a bit more a bit more elastic, so it's closer to this. But what else could we have? Well, check these giraffes out. Look at that one. Just as we had with demand, that one there is perfectly inelastic, just like the letter I. So for that situation, it doesn't matter what the price, they're unable to change the quantity available. Now you've got to think to yourself, surely businesses are able to increase the supply, but when does that actually occur? So one of the things we're going to discover, is that it takes time to produce goods and services. So if you ask them immediately, right now, can you give me more? They may not be able to. It may take them time. They may have to source it from another shop, or they may have to find it from another country, or they may have to manufacture more of them. So it might take time. So right now, that's all they can do. They can't supply you any more of that product, and that would mean, doesn't matter how much you're offering them price-wise, they've just got that many, however many that is. Right? And it might be, you consider, again, the fixed supplies of certain things, right? There's only this many tickets to the game, right? They can't change that supply at that particular point in time. You've got this many sheep, right, for sale, and that's all the sheep you have. Right? At that point in time, you can't make more sheep instantly out of thin air. This one's a bit more different. This one here is unit elastic, and it's exactly proportional. And again, the mathematicians probably see that quite easily, right? 10 and 10 and 20 and 20 and 30 and 30 and so on. And the one thing that's quite unusual about a unit elastic supply curve is that it will always intersect here right at the origin. Okay, always does. It's called unit elastic or unitary elastic. Right, so for PES, there are our extreme curves that could possibly happen. Perfectly inelastic, like the letter I, perfectly elastic, like the letter E, and unit or unitary elastic, which goes all the way through the origin, and it's exactly proportional. All right, hearing my son squeal in the background, so I think that's a good sign. Right, now here's what I'd like you to do, just as a bit of an exercise, just so that I can see that you're understanding. Have a go at drawing an elastic supply and an inelastic supply. It doesn't have to be perfectly elastic or perfectly inelastic. Just have a go at recognizing when you're drawing them, just sketch drawing, which one would be more elastic and which one more inelastic. There you go. Give you a couple of minutes for that. Yeah, good efforts. Well done so far. It's the right idea. You've gone perfectly inelastic and elastic cane. That's fine. Remember, if it goes through the origin, it's going to be more unitary. Good work. Goodness me, that's an extreme idea. Remember, because it's supply, we're going upward sloping as best as we can. Work. That's the right idea, Lishan. A little bit like you're writing in hieroglyphics, Abu. Good work, Brandon. It's the right idea. Yep. See, it shouldn't be too difficult, right? And this is something that you can do as a skill when you're in the exam. You know, oh, it's got to be inelastic. What does that look like? Quick sketch on the side, on the side of the page, just to help you visually, so that you know what it is that you're looking at. Nice colours. Well done. Okay, I think we're doing pretty well. All right, okay. That's good, Emma. That's exactly right. All right, now, if I'm just going to move on like that, because we also need to know what causes the supply curve to be either elastic or inelastic. We want to know what its determinants are. Just as we did with PED, PES also has determinants. And the big one that we mentioned before was time period. The amount of time you give the producer. Just as time is also a determinant of demand, time is a determinant also of supply, because the longer time you give a producer, the more likely it is that they're going to be able to increase the quantity. Right? The shorter the time period that you give a producer, then the less time they have to be responsive to your quantity that you're demanding, so therefore they're less likely to be able to increase their supply. Similarly, the next one is how much stock do they actually have on hand? You know, you've gone into the shop, you're looking at buying a t-shirt from the clothing shop, and they say, hold on, I've got one just out the back. All right. So they'll have the stock on hand. They might, and if they do, then quite quickly they can increase the quantity supplied. There could be what's called a level of spare capacity. Now, capacity isn't a word that you come across every day, I'm imagining, but if you see the word, there it is. Inside the word is the word capable, which you might have heard before, right? People who are capable of doing different things. Okay? So capacity is about what a business is capable of producing, what they are capable of manufacturing. So when we talk about spare capacity, it's like how much room they have in their factory. So spare room or spare ability. You know how people might talk about people underperforming at certain tasks. You might watch a sports team and think, oh, they didn't do as well as they should have done. Yeah. Well, in that sort of situation, you're talking about how productive they were. Were they using all of their productivity? Were they using all their capability? And if they weren't, maybe there's some spare capacity left over. Right? So I watch the NBA, and one of the big debates at the moment is the start of the new season, okay, and whether they should start early or not, or a bit later. And if they start a bit earlier, because they're wanting to try and finish it before the Olympics are due to be held in Japan, right? And if they finish it, if they started a bit earlier, there are going to be some players like LeBron James who are actually going to want a rest before they play again. So there might be some teams who decide that when NBA first starts, that they're big time players, they're going to have a bit of a rest. So their teams will have spare capacity, so that as they go through the season, they're able to increase their productivity as they go through. Right? So more spare capacity you have, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to increase your production, right? Therefore be more responsive to changes in price. Now, this next one is about the mobility and costs of factors of production. How expensive is it to employ factors of production? Now, we know this. You will know this. Your family will know this. If you need to hire somebody to come and fix something in your house, you know, or your mum and dad will know how expensive that might be. Okay? So if you're trying to figure out, we need to increase our output, right? Well, how expensive is the labor going to be that you need to pay for in order to do that? And where do you get them from, this mobility idea? Right? How easy is it for you to find those resources in order to increase your output? You know? It's very easy to say, right, we're going to increase output, but we don't have the resources. And if we did know where the resources were, they'd be too expensive for us to use. So those are all determinants of PES. Right? So have a go. See if you can explain two of them, please. There we go. You're going to do two determinants. So look. Good. Yes, the time period and the level of spare capacity. Well done, Lancelot. There we go. Now you'll notice I'm asking for 2, which means effectively this particular question, if it's in your exam, you're looking at about 4 marks, right? Because you've got 2 and 2, so 2 marks for each determinant that you have explained. Now explain isn't just state, right? Theoretically, when you start writing these for real, you are going to need to add the detail and explain how it impacts on elasticity. Another minute. Yes, well done, Abu. It's very good. The right idea. Oh, goodness me, this is very full. Well done, Eugene. Very good, Emma. Well done. Gosh, you guys are rock stars. I'll give you about another minute. Yes, yes, Kane, that's right. Very good, Lishan. Another 30 seconds. Okay. All right. Now, if I just move one more forward. No, we're going to go back. Right, so those are your determinants of PES, and it is important that we know what they are and that we know how they impact on PES. All right, I'm going to stop sharing now and go back to the meet. It's here. Hello, team. All right. Now, so here's the deal. All right, next week, we've got a short week this week. Woo! We're going to have a break tomorrow and Friday. Okay, mentally decompress from the week. Try not to annoy your families. All right. Please do some revision between now and next week, right, when I next see you, because next week I would actually like to ask you a short response question, and I'd like to push it through to you. And so I'm looking at maybe our second lesson next week, so that will be, well, Wednesday next week, if I can push that through to you. And so during the meet that time, you'll then work your way through it. And I'm going to try and put it through exam.net, okay? Because it'll be good for you to get to see what exam.net is and how it works, because that's possible that we will use that again in the future. You never know. All right, so we'll try and do that. It will be a short response question. It won't take huge lengths of time. It's not like a full exam or anything like that, but it will be very good practice for you with regards to elasticity. I've also pushed some multi-choice questions to you, 5 of them, about PED. So it would be good to have a practice on those as well, see how you get on. Otherwise, all right, revision, preparation, have a break, and we will see you next week. So as we'd say, land of my birth, which means good life now.
Thank you, Mr. David.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you, Mr. David.
Thank you. See you. Thank you. Bye.